Hey everybody, this is Liz from Augusta, and I have somebody very special today that I'd like you to meet and hear about their Augusta experience. And this is Andy Burlison from Medford, Oregon. And how are you today, Andy?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So I'm just going to jump right in. I want you to share with everyone how they heard about Augusta, how you heard about Augusta the first time.
I heard about Augusta the first time at conference. I believe it was 2020, January 2020.
So
Um,
you came to conference just because it was a landscape conference and you didn't expect anything more than that, right?
Correct. I never heard about the franchising or whatever until conference
And how long ago was that? 3 years? 4 years?
three years ago. Yeah,
So we would have just started franchising at that time, right?
correct. Yeah,
So that means you're part of the OG gang.
yeah. I think I was franchise number 10. I think. Yeah,
Definitely, or even a lesser number. I'm not sure, but I just know
yeah,
that you're one of the first people that were willing to be guinea pigs and learn with us.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay, so what was the final thing that really caused you to want to join? If you came to conference and was just learning about landscaping and then he shared about Augusta, what caused you to make that decision so quickly?
I just think I liked your guys' like mission and what you stood for, and I think what you guys could provide as far as helping me, I just knew it was something that I couldn't live without.
Did
And
you already have a landscaping business?
I did, I did for a lot of years. A lot of years, it was just kind of a job for myself, but
Hmm.
um, I
And was
just
it
knew.
was it the kind of job that you felt like you could provide for your family for a lifetime, or was it just you were barely scraping to get by and didn't really know what you were doing business wise?
I think a little bit of both. You know, there's always roller coaster years and times, but for the
And
most part,
what kind of services did you offer then?
just maintenance type services.
So mowing
Yeah,
and cleanups, and did you do any installs at all?
no, no.
So when you came to Augusta, then it wasn't weird or odd that Mike really pushed simplifying services.
No, not at all. And even today, I don't do probably less than 5% of our businesses is project like install type stuff.
So would you install a wall or a driveway or anything like that?
No, no.
So have you found it's easier to scale since you've simplified services? Well, you didn't really simplify, you were already keeping it that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I realized too, even just now, like there's a lot of things that tie me to something that I
Hmm.
don't necessarily want to be tied down to anymore.
You
And
mean
the only way,
service wise?
yeah, like, and the only way to do that is to simplify what you're doing and
Hmm.
make it
And what
easy to train somebody else to do it. So I don't have to do
I
certain
see.
things, you know?
Yes. So when you hire someone, how long does it take to get them up to speed so that you don't have to be there supervising?
Um, I I have a couple of seasoned guys that a lot of times they will go with them, and they could be with them 2, 3 weeks
Oh, that's
before
great. So they
before I
they
think
start
they're,
generating some income in that amount of time?
oh yeah, yeah. We run a lot of two-man crews just because I kind of built my business on some commercial type stuff,
Okay.
which looking back, maybe I may not have done that, but so we run
Okay.
a lot of two-man crews where we do a mix of we might do a mix of houses throughout the day and then a larger property, stuff like that.
And do those people pay monthly? Are they contracts, the maintenance ones?
Yeah, most of them, yeah.
Okay. And then they pay monthly as well.
Yeah, right.
A little harder to get payments from those.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it
Um,
hasn't been too bad, but
oh,
yeah,
that's good. You probably have a pretty good relationship with the people in charge then.
yeah.
Yeah. So how would you say your journey has been with Augusta so far?
I would say it's been really good. I think we've probably more than doubled the size of my business since I started with Augusta.
Oh, fantastic. And what
Yeah.
about camaraderie and friendships and that type of thing? Has it been beneficial in that way?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Not just with, I think the employees recognize a higher level of professionalism with ourselves. I think even some of I call them competition, but they're really not competition. Like
Right.
I just lent a mower to one of my competitors because his broke down. So I've just built some friendships and stuff, you know. And one guy just the other day asked me, "Hey, what's this landscape summit conference thing about?" And I'm like, "Look, let's go. Come with me," you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So
he's like,
how
"Oh
did he
yeah."
know? Was he following the content?
I think I think he found Mike on YouTube or something, and I think he
Mm-hmm.
maybe saw me post, you know, that I was going, and it intrigued him what it was all about.
Did he come with you?
No, not this year, but
Oh, but upcoming, he'll
maybe
come.
yeah, maybe this next time I'll talk him into coming because I told him it would be really beneficial for him to even if you're not a part of Augusta, you still learn.
Mm-hmm. So why would you say that they're not really your competition? Do you feel like Augusta is so ahead of the game that they could be completely transparent and share everything about what they were doing, and there would still be really no competition because other people in the industry are so far behind?
Yeah, I think so. I I think I think we just have sort of a reputation of like people can count on us,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think you get that a lot with. I hear that a lot from even just new clients I go visit. You know, my landscape guy before, like he'd one week show up on a Tuesday, and then the next week it'd be a Friday, and then wouldn't show up the next week, and so I hear a lot of frustrations from clients too that there's a lot of non-consistency and reliability with a lot of other maintenance type providers, and we're us, like maybe they feel a level of confidence in us that we're going to show up the same day every week
Mm-hmm.
and be reliable.
When the customers share that, do you like agree with them? Oh yeah, they're not very reliable or that type thing, or is it kind of when we're in the front yard, we're still watching out for the other landscape company and defending them?
I never put another person down, so I never talk about somebody else. I always try to just talk about us and what we can do. Um,
That's good. Yeah.
yeah, I don't get into that. But
Yeah,
I,
we have
I
a
just
wonderful, go ahead.
I just try to share like what we can do and what we provide, and just try to keep it about us and not about somebody else. Because I don't know some other people, you know, what
Yeah.
maybe they have a good reason why they're inconsistent. I don't know.
Right, for sure. Yeah, we have the same here where we have a great relationship with all the other landscapers. And if we have anything that we know is not integrity or good about their business, we never share that to the customers. Almost like
Mhm.
in the front yard, we have to all be united.
Right,
And the
right.
only issues we've had with any of the other landscapers in the area is when they throw us under the bus in front of other, customers, when we would have gladly given them business even.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh,
have
for sure.
relationships with any of them that you would say you're doing simpler services, but they do walls or irrigation, and then you recommend them and hand off work to them?
Yeah, I do. I have one company here that they will throw me maintenance stuff, and I will throw them, you know, paver jobs, retaining wall jobs, irrigation, even
Mm-hmm.
stuff that I don't do. So
That's
yeah.
fantastic. So, how do you feel that being a part of Augusta Nation has benefited you as a person, like mentally, spiritually, in your life, in your family, like as a person? Do you feel there's been a change?
Yeah, I think yeah, I think it's been a very positive influence and benefit for me. Um, I think it's helped me just kind of uh, I wouldn't say be more professional because I'm always been professional, but I think it's just knowing you're a part of something bigger that you you don't want to let somebody else down, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So
That makes sense.
it kind of just raises your whole, you know, integrity, level of professionalism, all of it. You know, it just makes you hold it more dear to your heart, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that
Being,
makes sense.
yeah,
And then the friendships that you've gained from that, when you have rough spots in the business and even in your family or other things you're going through, are they the kind of people that you feel like you can reach out to?
Um,
Or do you keep it completely separate from what's going on in Augusta Nation?
yeah, probably. Like you mean as far as like other franchisees that I've developed
Yes.
relationships? Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I do have I have a private group that we chat almost every day with some other franchisees, and we share personal stuff and
Mm-hmm.
struggles, wins, losses.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you find they're the same quality as yourself? You're very kind, positive. You don't look on the negative side. Are they the same type of people?
oh, absolutely, absolutely, yes, yeah,
That's fantastic. So
yeah.
we have about, I think as of this week, 120 locations, and you were in the first 10. And so out of all those, I believe that in each state and different areas that they create WhatsApp groups and then they have a support system. So in your opinion, would you have had anything like that if you hadn't joined Augusta?
No, I don't think so.
You
I don't
wouldn't have
think I
had
would have.
connections across the country that you would have felt that tight with.
I don't think so. Not like we do with these guys. Like we stay in the same Airbnb when we go to conference and stuff, and so we've developed kind of a close knit, friendship.
Hmm.
I don't think I would have had otherwise.
Yeah, when you were talking about having a support group like that or feel like you're representing people, um, you don't want to let them down and that it's something, a bigger part of yourself. I remember this past week, I wasn't going through anything specific, but I just had this realization. I have a whole nation backing me up. I have all of these people that are a part of what I'm doing, and I have such a support system. It doesn't even matter if I talk to all of these people or have personal relationships with them. And I thought this is how the franchisees feel. They have a place to go. They have a Facebook group that they can just, somebody help, just help me. I'm even probably in the field sometimes. You and I have seen people post on the Facebook group, I'm at this property. I have no clue how to bid this job,
Hmm.
somebody help me. And so many people do not have that. And how do
Right.
you think they feel during spring rush when they have zero people to go to? How is that for you before?
Yeah, you learn to just wing it, I guess, and it's nice now to have just almost like a family. You guys are
Mm-hmm.
just, you could ask any question you want, and nobody's gonna make you feel like it's a dumb question, or
Mm-hmm.
and really support you in all ways, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Since you were the first 10, you've seen us bumble around and try things out and they fail, and then we try something else. If you had to do it all over again, join Augusta again, is there anything you would have done differently?
Um, I probably would have been more on board with some of the Augusta systems from day one instead of procrastinating within myself about certain things, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I kind of built my business on a lot of commercial, bigger stuff
Mm-hmm.
that maybe looking back, if I could go back, maybe I wouldn't have. I think it would have been easier to. It's always nice, like, oh, hey, I got a new commercial client, $5,000 a month job. That's
Yeah.
great. Year round. It's like it's nice to one aspect, but in another aspect, it's like it's also tough when you lose one of those.
Exactly.
I have to lay somebody off, or you lose a whole crew, or I think if I could go back, I'd be more on board with the Augusta systems, which is, just like residential stuff, small residential stuff, do it that
Hmm.
way and be
How many
more on board.
years? Yeah, how many years were you in business doing lawn care before you came to Augusta?
I started in 2008 and I joined Augusta in 2020. So 12 years.
So do you think it would have been easier for you and for others who start with zero experience, like they're just, maybe they mowed their own grass, maybe they don't, did it as a kid to get themselves through school or something, but to actually create a business? Do you think it's easier for people to come in from ground zero or to come in with an established business like you did and try to switch brands?
I think it would be easier for somebody to start from nothing. Like if I could go to another location in the US right now with nothing and let's say I be a GM or something,
Mm-hmm.
like I just know I could build that so quickly, so fast, and just do it all within the systems and the way we do things
Mm-hmm.
instead of trying to re-engineer backwards
Right.
has probably been my biggest struggle. It's some of it's just me getting in my own way,
Yeah.
but for sure, I think it would be so much easier
Mm-hmm.
to start from scratch. Then you don't have any bad habits or
Mm-hmm.
alternate ways of thinking or mindsets. Just like trying to teach an old dog new tricks, here.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Yeah, so if you started from scratch, you probably wouldn't take on contracts right away. You'd try to get like recurring mows in residential areas.
right. That would be probably a main focus.
Yeah, I found the franchisees really successful that do just mowing and simple services like you, and then scale them like crazy
Hmm.
instead of
Yeah,
trying to do a $130,000 landscape project like Lee and I did
yeah,
before we learned our lesson that it's so much better to do it this way.
yeah. I don't know if it's just price tag. You get dollar signs in your
I think
eyes,
so.
because I've taken on some larger projects. Not large like that, but $5,000 or $6,000, tear somebody's lawn out, put a new lawn in, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then once you look back on it, you're like, I don't, I don't really think I, I don't really think I made more money doing that than
Hmm.
just mowing lawns or doing cleanups or something.
Hmm.
And so this year I've already turned one down actually, and trying to just cut some of the larger stuff off,
Hmm.
if you will. Um,
So what would you say to somebody else that really has a price tag, like what's the word? A mirage where they think they're going to make all of this money and they just look at the big price of their bid. What would you say to them? Like, what kind of filter should they run that through to make a decision to just have the mentality to simplify? And how in the world did you say no to that?
I know that's a tough one because it's hard to say no. Like, I mean, it really is. Like, I mean, I know other guys that are adding services, irrigation, and it's like, why?
Well,
Yeah,
what was your reservation? Was it that I don't have employees that are skilled enough to do this, or I only have one? And what if I lose him? Did you think of the employees?
yeah, I think that's part of it. I think part of it too is I'm trying to be more of a out of the field
Okay.
GM role within
Yep.
my own business.
That's
And so
smart.
I don't want to be stuck. Oh, usually these types of jobs, I'm on the job site 100% of the time.
Exactly. So
These type of jobs.
you couldn't be doing other estimates and actually generating more business if you were stuck. So you'd have to actually account that into the price of the business you would be losing while you were trying to do this project.
Pretty much, because I did that a lot last year, and then you end up pushing estimates off, and then you push them off to the next day,
Yeah.
and then the next day, and then the next day, and before you know it, it's been a week, and you haven't got to 10 estimates, and I'm trying to get out of that. Like,
Yeah. By then
we
the
got to
customers moved on and got another
exactly,
customer and you paid for that lead for nothing.
exactly, exactly. That's my goal this year is to be quicker with
Yes.
estimates, quicker with all of that, because I brushed it off too much last year, dealing with some personal stuff and also being stuck to a truck, if you will.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to get out of that.
One thing I find really fascinating is we offer what's called Command Center, where we have an a la carte list and the franchisees can choose from that. So let's say they need help. Well, they feel like they can do their scheduling, their invoicing, their own estimates. Sometimes they even want to manage their own phone calls. And the stuff like, oh man, calculating P for my guys or payroll or QuickBooks, that's just too much. Can you just take that? So we offer that to them, in the busy season, if they just can't do something, they can hand it back over to us. And in your experience, you've been watching us as we grow and then mess up and have to apologize as we're building Command Center. And in what you're doing, you've been pretty successful without any support from us other than phone calls. And do we do your estimates?
No,
Okay,
I do
so
all my own
so
estimates.
you're
Yeah.
doing everything in-house. So for you, you haven't needed Command Center. And is that because you felt like you were so established in the rhythm of the system that you had doing it yourself all these years that you feel pretty self-sustained?
I think that was, I, I think that's part of it. I also know I don't get as many estimates here as maybe a lot of other locations get. I know some other locations, they get more estimates in a month than I receive in a whole year.
I
And,
see. Okay.
and so I found it easier for me to just do it myself. That it's probably something within me that I'm afraid of something getting messed up. And so I still do that.
Yeah, so it's like your baby and it's hard to hand those things over.
Right. And that's some things I'm working on is letting some stuff go. And if there's an error, there's an error. We can't sweat the 1% sometimes, like,
Hmm.
yeah.
So if you 10x your business, then you would feel like you wouldn't really have a choice. You'd have to hand some stuff over.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's manageable for you now at this level, but if you
Right.
scaled really big, really fast, you would have to have some instant support.
Yes.
So at
Yeah.
least you know it's there. That
Right.
if you decide this year I'm growing, maybe I've been maintaining, but I just want to go for it, I can immediately, okay, this is just a little too much for me, and then you can just throw it to us.
Correct. Correct. And I know last year some of my over the phone estimates got messed up. And so I shut that off.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I would have never, and I'm working with them to,
Mm-hmm.
we're going
So
to get that rolling again and
I
turn
would
back
say
on.
that's part of when you first implement something and all the mistakes and the failings that happen because of on our end learning to build systems and sustain them as well. So just learning to
Hmm.
teach the staff to do it correctly. And as we got better and better, then you would hear testimonials of, say, Nick Reed that said he never changed one or he just went with it and he knew it was
Hmm.
going to, there might be mistakes, but he said he never had to change one. So I think that is the difference. Some of the franchisees that started out with us when we did OTP, which is what we call over the phone, where we measure
Hmm.
their properties via satellite, that would be the reservation, I would say, is the people that were a little bit burned when we were building our system and got it wrong. So what did you do with those customers then? Did you go back and apologize and say, actually, it was wrong and this is the right bid? And that's so embarrassing.
I did do that on one. Well, sometimes you don't see that there's, say somebody has a backyard, right? And it's three different levels, right? Three different
Hmm.
tiers or four different
Exactly.
tiers to a backyard where maybe that's an added $5 per week expense.
Right.
That you can't see that necessarily over the phone.
Right.
So I had one specifically like that. And I just told the customer, I said, listen, we didn't see this part, some of the obstacles when we did the estimate over the phone.
Hmm.
And it's going to be $5 more. And they were okay with that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's good.
but,
That's
but
good.
then it twisted something in my mind, like maybe I should just do estimates in person myself or drive-bys. And
Hmm.
I, I should have just left it going and
Hmm.
not tried to, not be so worried about a mistake because, they're going to happen. But
Hmm.
like I said, you can't worry about the 1%. It's, yeah.
Hmm. Your feedback, though, feedback like that is what's made us get much better at it. So questions we'll ask now, is there anything else that's kind of different that we should be aware of at your property? I mean, you and I both know there are properties where you actually have to pick up the mower and take it up 3 steps to do a whole
Right.
nother level. And that's a
Hmm.
big deal. You might not be able to go by yourself if you're going to have to do that.
Hmm.
So those kind
Correct.
of
Yeah.
things, those would be anomalies, but those would be something that you would hope the customer would share. But we ask a lot of questions to get that information out of them on the phone. Like, do you have sprinkler systems? Do you have a gate? Do you have pets we need to be aware of? And we have a list of about 10 questions. And the nice thing is the customer is they love to talk. And while they're talking, we're asking these questions and keeping them talking. And by then, in 8 to 10 minutes, we've got it sold now.
Hmm.
So I think a lot of it is the beginning process of us making so many mistakes. So let's say again that you 10x'd it and we could save you 8 appointments in a day, then you're almost forced to have some more help, even if one or two are messed up, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So long term, What is your vision and your goal for your particular location?
I would like to grow it to a spot where I could hire a GM or something to
Mm-hmm.
replace myself. I don't know if a second location would be something I would necessarily want to do, but
Mm-hmm.
that might be something I might consider. Um,
Because what
my
would you
air,
do with yourself?
I know. I mean, I would still always be involved to some degree, maybe, like I know there's other Augusta franchises that are in the million plus ranges, and they still go out and do all of the estimates themselves.
Right, right.
They don't handle the office, maybe, but so that might be a role I would still do, but
But the GM would run the projects and be out in the
exactly
field.
be the guy
Yes.
that has to be tied to stuff,
Yeah,
instead of
so
it
you
being
would be
me.
working on the business, but you'd never have to actually be in the day-to-day grind of it all.
Correct. That would be my first goal.
Yeah. So I like to finish our interviews with you sharing a quote. I love words and I love learning.
Oh
And
man.
do you have any? It doesn't have to be your very favorite because I could never pick a very favorite. But are you the kind of person that listens to audibles or has any kind of favorite quotes that you'd want to share?
Hmm. I should have looked this up before this meeting.
Well,
Let's talk about.
if instantly on the draw, what kind of stuff comes to mind?
Ah, gosh. I
Putting you on the spot.
I know. I have this little thing on my. It says, "You are amazing. Remember that."
Oh,
Like.
I like that. I like that.
I don't know. I
What
can't.
about
I
books
can't.
or podcasts? Do you listen to any particular podcasts or audible books?
Um, I really don't. I'm more of a music guy.
So you're self-sustained.
I wouldn't say that. We can always learn, right?
Yeah.
But I'm more of a music guy. Music's my therapy.
Okay, that's good to
Yeah,
know. What's your favorite
yeah.
groups?
I like a rock band called Shinedown. They're probably one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you just every time they have new content, you kind of like I would do with Audible books, probably. You're always watching for their new stuff and you get everything that they put out type thing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you would want to share to other landscapers getting started or other people that maybe are thinking of joining Augusta but would wonder why in the world would I make that leap to do that?
I would just say do it. Uh, I think I think a lot of people will, like, maybe it's an ego thing. They
Mm,
think, well, I've already built this, you know, brand of mine that they're afraid to let go of. And
mm-hmm,
I would say that shouldn't just just do it. I think if you don't join Augusta, you're gonna get left behind at some point in your career, like,
mm-hmm.
because Augusta's gonna take over. I mean, it really will.
Simple facts.
It is. I mean, and if you're not it's kind of like if you can't beat them, join them. So join them now before you have to try to beat them.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun to join and be at the bottom level when, still at 120. Our goal is probably 1,000, and
Hmm.
so why not be there and be a part of the collaboration of building the systems and making it great?
Exactly. Exactly. There's been nothing negative about it at all. So it's only been positive and good. So I would
Yeah,
say
well,
do it.
I'm really happy for your steady presence. Is really what I would say is how I would describe you. Is very kind, positive, and steady. No drama, and just
Hmm.
supportive, but really good at giving feedback. Good, straight, you know, no BS feedback when we need it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I thank you for your time today. It's much appreciated.
You bet. You bet. Anytime.
All right. You have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.